Most heat pumps don't actually fail in the middle of winter like January. They probably fail around May, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why that may happen.
Meet Chris, an HVAC expert who installed his first system at just 11 years old. Since 2000, he has been running his company full-time, working on everything from massive industrial facilities to high-rise office buildings and thousands of high-end residential projects. With over 100 Fortune 500 clients and a reputation for solving the most complex HVAC challenges alongside top engineers, Chris knows this industry inside and out. But here's the thing, he believes the residential HVAC market is the most underserved and convoluted part of the industry. That's why he created the Information for Consumer Show to bring real, honest HVAC knowledge directly to homeowners like you. No sales gimmicks, no confusion, just expert advice to help you stay comfortable and save money. And now, the Information for Customer Success Show.
Why do spring failures happen? Here's what usually happens. System runs hard all winter. Nobody checks it. It just turned off. No more heating needed. Spring, beautiful, nice, flowers growing. You feel fantastic. You feel better. Who doesn't like spring? But the system runs hard all summer. And the first hot day hits. Now the system shifts to cooling under full load. Something weak from the winter gives out. Homeowners say, it was working fine yesterday. I don't understand what happened. Well, no, it was surviving winter and spring exposed it. So everybody that's in the Northeast is going to agree with me. We just ran a marathon. This is the most stressful time your heat pump probably has had in several decades. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 things every homeowner should be, doing right now at the end of winter. And it's all to avoid those expensive breakdowns heading into spring. Let's talk about what your heat pump just went through. If you live in the Northeast, your system just ran for months straight. And I know this for a fact because I personally have heat pumps that ran for months straight, and we have access to a lot of our customers, and we can see the data of those heat pumps running for, now when I say months straight, I don't mean continuously. I think we've had a good week stretch where I've seen 24 hours day after day after day of continuous running in some places, but let's just say that 80% to 90% of the day was spent with the heat pump running for several weeks at a time, which is way more than most previous seasons. It went through dozens, maybe hundreds of defrost cycles. So that's that stressful moment too, where the heat pump activates that reversing valve, switches to cooling, does it really fast at most highest peak compressor capacity, and kind of just blows off the steam, right? Your heat pump sat in buried snow. It dealt with freezing rain. It pulled cold air across that outdoor coil to grab whatever little heat it could grab. So that outdoor coil, it's not just a fan in a box, right? It's the heat transfer surface. And when it's packed with dirt, salt, debris from the winter, it can't breathe properly. And when it can't breathe properly, pressures go up. Amperage, which is the measurement of electricity, goes up. And of course, your electric bills go up with it. And there's wear and tear that goes up. Spring is your window to fix that before the cooling season exposes it. Now, spring could be very, very short. This is the problem that I find with what a lot of customers do. Our customer behavior is that, we go through a long winter, all of a sudden spring gets nice, and by the time you know it, you have that first heat wave. And it could happen in April, or it happens end of May. So spring could be longer or shorter, but you want to capture spring. The second you have sunny days, there's no more precipitation in terms of snow. You want to get that checkup done, that maintenance done on your heating and or cooling system. Do not wait. Get it done before it gets hot. A lot of companies will tell you, we have to wait until it's warmer. That's not correct. They're thinking of old technology, old systems. Certain compressors are not able to run during colder temperatures, but you can always simulate those conditions. So that's exactly not true. Listen, when it's 40 degrees outside and it's already springtime and we see that summer right across the corner coming, you have to schedule a maintenance. So number one, let's check your filter. And hopefully this is something that actually you are doing, although a lot of our clients don't do this or don't do this at a frequency that's good enough. So if your filter is dirty right now, your system has been suffocating all winter. A clogged filter means this. It means restricted airflow, which raises the system temperature, creates higher operating costs, and shortens the equipment life. If you haven't checked it since December, check it now, change that filter now, please be on top of it. Very easy thing for everybody to do. So hopefully if you are in a cold climate and you have a heat pump, you already understand, you know, to clean around the outdoor unit. During winter, leaves, mulch, debris build up all around the base. You want, 12 to 18 inches of clearance from around the unit. Which means that don't just clean the unit. If there's mulch or debris or things laying right next to it, they're going to find their way close to the unit. So clean all around it. No plastic bags, no small snow melt, salt crushed in and close to the unit. This is a very frequent problem I see. Sometimes the heat pump units are very close to some kind of a walkway. Of course, you're clearing your snow. You're using the snow melt salt to get rid of the snow, obviously, and then it kind of sprinkles all the way around and it finds its way close to the unit. Well, that stuff is corrosive. That stuff will eat through your unit. It will eat through the coil. Don't ever pressure wash the unit. Don't stick a screwdriver into it. Gentle and clean is what you want. And again, if you're ready for this kind of work, great. I'm giving you tips on what to do. However, most customers don't feel super confident trying to do these things. This is where you call your HVAC professional to do them. Right, 3, let's listen for those new noises. When you first switch it to cooling, it may sound different than when it ran in heating.
That does not sound right. Guess I'm calling someone.
And you're going to listen for noises like grinding, buzzing, rattling. A loud startup usually is an indication of a problem too. So sometimes you hear that unit kind of start up and it makes a rattling sound, it goes away and you think, oh, okay, it just start up, it worked itself out. That's a sign of something. So, make sure you tell your HVAC maintenance person to look at that. Your system shouldn't sound different just because it's warmer outside. If it does, that's an early warning. All right, test the cooling early, not on your first 85-degree day. And this is huge. So you may tell me, okay, Chris, it's 50 degrees outside. I'm not turning on my cooling. Even running it for 2 or 3 minutes in my house will just cool off my house. It's uncomfortable. This is where I would say you shouldn't be doing this because, again, a HVAC professional is going to be able to come to the house and actually test the cooling and simulate all the right situations for the system to work, and they'll minimize the uncomfortable feeling in the house. But even so, even if your house does have cold air coming through it, just for several minute tests, that's no big deal. It's worth its weight in gold. Don't wait until the first hot weekend of May. Pick a mild, 60-degree day or even colder. If you're going to do this yourself, turn the cooling on for at least 15 minutes. Make sure it switches modes properly. So a lot of times that reversing valve we keep talking about that are present in heat pump modes, they get stuck, and they may be stuck in heating. So if you're trying to turn it on to cooling and you're getting heating, you got a reversing valve problem. Make sure the air coming out feels cool, like cold cool. Outdoor fan is running nice and smoothly. Commercial buildings do this every year. Homeowners almost never do this, and they should. What's the downside if I wait till that first 85-degree day? What's the downside? Oh, come on, you know the downside. The downside is you're frantically calling your guy that you use for HVAC, and of course, he's busy. He's busy taking care of emergencies, and you have to wait. And of course, there's that weekend. You invited the family over, and you're faced in a kind of a bad situation. And on top of it, if you do manage to have somebody over, and it turns out that you need a major repair or even a replacement, well, now you're making an emergency situation out of it, which means you're paying a premium. You're making a hurried decision. You may not pick the right system or the right contractor for the job. So don't wait. So this is something else that a contractor would do. I don't encourage homeowners to do is they're going to check the coil and the electrical components. After a hard winter, we often find pitted contactors, weak capacitors, corroded terminals, dirty coils causing elevated head pressure. And dirty coils is a very sort of difficult one. When you look at the outside of the coil, to a layman, sometimes the coil looks clean and you say no big deal, but actually to a professional, when they go deeper into the coil or see coils in other spots, they actually may be very clogged up and dirty. So this all causes head pressure to rise, which means, again, compressor amperage rises, energy use rises, stress rises, and the compressors are the most expensive components in the system. This isn't just a sort of a tune-up. This is really a preventive measure to make sure you don't experience that extremely expensive repair, which is compressor failure. Compressor failure, by the way, is preventing a $3,000 to $5,000 problem. So getting ahead of it prevents a $3,000 to $5,000 problem. Smart commercial building owners have pre-built inspections and maintenance plans and professionals that cover their huge investments. Granted, you have to do that because commercial HVAC is usually extremely expensive and it gets heavy usage. We inspect before seasonal transitions for every commercial client. Now, residential homeowners were just never taught to think that way. If you don't want to remember all of this every March, this is why maintenance plans exist. Not to sell you something, just to protect the equipment you already invested in. I'm going to recap this by saying that any air conditioning maintenance done in the spring is important, but the one for your heat pump is extremely important. It's a tired dog that just ran a marathon. You have to check on it. You have to make sure everything is right on it. So again, homeowners, I'm a homeowner. Everybody around me that I know is a homeowner. We have a lot to worry about, from roofs to driveways to snow plowing to garage doors. Everything can become a problem. This is why you got to leverage professionals, HVAC professionals engage you in maintenance plans so you don't have to worry about this stuff. We track equipment conditions, we show up when we're supposed to show up. If you feel I'm giving you some value and you're enjoying the show and you want to just give me more energy to make more topics, number one, write me any question you have at questions@icshvac.com. And of course, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I welcome your support every single time. Thank you.